Now in this lecture we'll take a look at how geolocation actually works. So turns out there are two request patterns, one being one time and the other one is continual. Now as the name suggests, one time means it just requests the current geolocation data once and then updates you with that. But if you are creating an application which requires consistent location updates, in that case the continual request pattern will be very helpful. Now the nature of the request that is made is actually asynchronous. So it just gives you a promise, and once the data is retrieved, the promise then gets fulfilled and you are provided with the latitude and longitude information for that particular location. Now we'll see how exactly this whole location thing is actually calculated. The first being is the IP address of the device. Now this is available everywhere and it's actually processed on the server side. So it kind of frees up the client-side resources. But the downside of it is low accuracy and high processing overhead. Then obviously we have our GPS. Now GPS is now these days built into the mobile devices, and these consumes a lot of power actually to process the current location, and that actually drains the battery of mobile devices. But the plus point of this is high accuracy, and this is also not optimal for indoors. Then we have Wi-Fi, which is accurate and it works indoors as well. Quick and cheap responses available, and it is ineffective in areas with limited access points. Then we have cell phone, which is fairly accurate, works indoors. Its quick and cheap response is there, and this requires access to cell phone or modem, and the only downside with this is it's ineffective in areas with few cell towers. Next we have user-defined. Now user-defined is something which is actually provided by the user itself. So we can rely on that information because that particular person is providing that information. So it's high accuracy, flexibility to designate alternate locations, and this may be one of the fastest option that we have. But it can be inaccurate, especially when the location changes and one forgets to update that. So using these techniques, the geolocation API in HTML5 provides the data, that is the latitude and longitude information for a given location using the patterns that we have described earlier, that is one time or continual in asynchronous mode. And using the latitude and longitude information, we can call various map applications, for instance Google Maps API, to pinpoint user location and accordingly show relevant information based on that particular location.